big old video to start SmackDown this week to remind you about everything last week with the Bloodline and the fact that Roman Reigns is back, which means we should stand and just go, I really love Roman Reigns. Also, hello my friends, my name is Simon and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need. We go through every single segment and we wiggle a finger around, the good bits get up and the bad bits are down, and it is a positive show. There is no wrestling tribalism here. What we care about is pro wrestling. So let's go, my buddies, my pals, my wannabes, and have a good time. We did get into SmackDown properly, and we saw the Bloodline arriving at the building. For some reason, they were going through metal detectors, even though they were wearing championship belts. And when one of the security dudes tried to tell Jake Fatu what was going on, he beat the piss out of it. Now, I'm sorry. Imagine you did that in any other kind of job. You would 100% be fired. In terms of matches as well, we got right into the thick of it because the US Championship was on the line and it was Andrade versus LA Knight. I tell you, I was super duper surprised because you heard me last week going, Carmelo Hayes is going to get involved. Well, not only did we not see Carm, LA Knight won clean. I think that's super duper smart, because now he continues to become a really serious champ. They did shake hands to let you know they're both good guys, though I swear that LA Knight used that to go for the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, when Andrade was going for his finish, and La was going for his finish too, so they must have gone into this match with their meters full. That's against the rules. This was totally true as well because we then got the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break, but when we returned from the adverts, these two were still at a stalemate. So when Andrade put on a headlock, he was trying to slow things down. And then I saw the opportunity to use Alan the announce table, so he slammed Andrade's face into that over and over again. When Andrade was like, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do this to you, and he threw him into the ring post. Now, it's probably a good idea to keep all this stuff in your brain, because they're essentially weapons. And we got to the main event, and all the rules went out the window. Mr. Tranquilo then followed this up with an awesome moonsault. When he posed, can somebody please go and tell these people, in 2024, you cannot taunt. It's essentially putting a target on your back. And surprise, he went for the double knees, and he totally missed. Now, admittedly, LA didn't benefit from this at all, because Andrade then went for his, oh no, I've missed you, but I've got you moonsault, haha. When Knight still got to his feet, and he went to the BFT, but Andrade reversed that into another surprise roll-up. I suppose the only shame here is that nobody actually deep down in their tum-tums thought Andrade could win. And I tell you, he rocked LA Knight with this elbow. I think it may have pissed him off. Eventually, though, it led them to the turnbuckle, and yes, when LA Knight tried to get up there, he slipped a little bit, and I think they had to call an audible, but essentially Andrade tried to hit him with something, totally failed, so LA Knight did hit the BFT, 1, 2, 3. And it rhymes, so it's fine. So this was really good, but clearly afterwards something went awry, or maybe we're just being worked like fools. But it looked like Andrade was going to shake his hand, but LA Knight wanted a fist bump, so they stared at each other for a little bit. This thing's got really, really awkward. Then Andrade kind of grabbed his hand and raised it. If I was going to guess, and again, do not forget I'm an idiot, I think that LA Knight was either upset that he did slip on the ropes or that he got whammed with this elbow, and he was having a little bit of a moment. And if it was the slipping, no wrestler should ever get upset about that. It makes it real. I can barely get out of bed. Either way, though, it doesn't matter and it doesn't take away from this match. And I suppose if we ever do it again, you've now planted some seeds, whether intentional or not. Also made the US Championship feel super duper important. I'm giving it up. Tiffany Stratton was then talking about these mad rules for what is now a tornado tag team match because, yeah, it is her and Nia Jax taking on Bayley and Naomi. And if either of those guys get pinned, they're off SmackDown. Now, Nia Jax was cool with this too, until she walked back in the room and said, oh, by the way, Tiffany, if you lose, maybe you should leave SmackDown. So I can only imagine, given that Raw is headed to Netflix soon, one of these 4 people is going to Mondays. I don't know who it is. When we learned that we are not done between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. Because Hayes saw Andrade backstage and basically said, you choked, bro. Now go get me a burger, because you're totally washed. When Andrade looked at him like, man, that's super mean given what I have just gone through. And I tell you, they got engaged in this massive war backstage. That was a damn good fight. I kind of think they were hitting each other. It does mean that next week we're going to do round 6. And at first I was like, man, I don't know if I need to see this again. Then the other part of my brain went, wait a minute. The other 5 have been totally brilliant. And you just know they'll have something up their sleeve. Hopefully a bunny rabbit, because nobody will see that coming. And you're just like, how do you do that trick? It's amazing. Anyway, getting back on course. I got distracted there. Color me excited. When WWE had clearly been reading social media a lot, because they keep seeing the word cinema, and probably live show charisma, they went screw using that word. let's bring the movies right into SmackDown. Because we basically got a mini movie filmed in the Georgia Tech Stadium in Atlanta, where the Bad Blood pay-per-view premium live event is going to be, and it even had the whole filter over the top. And yeah, it was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns meeting to have a chat. Now, if you do break this down, it makes no sense. Why were they meeting in the middle of a stadium? But otherwise, flub me sideways, this rules. And we saw cars pull up to the venue as well as they met on the 50-yard line. As Roman Reigns was all like, look who it is. Stupid Cody Rhodes. Roman then did his usual thing of pointing things out, going, that's mine, this is mine, it's all mine. But of course, it was in Georgia, where he played American football. Although, at one time, I want him to be doing this ownership thing, and just a random old woman sat in the crowd, so he has to go, Agatha up there, she's mine. That's going to be super awkward. Reigns also wanted to know what Cody had done for his city, when Rhodes was like, are you absolutely kidding me? Do you know about my family? Like, Center Stage is right down the road. That was basically a home of WCW. Have you heard of my dad? He's right. Now, Roman actually accepted this. He was like, yeah, okay, fair point. But here's the deal, Cody, moving into all this bloodline stuff, you have forgotten that you now are the only person that has something to lose. I mean, have you seen this brand new bloodline? They don't care about anything, they just want to destroy. Roman also puts himself in this situation though, because look, he has lost everything. He's essentially at rock bottom. He doesn't have a Jimmy Uso, he doesn't have a Hula Fala. Some people even saying he's not the tribal chief anymore. He's a man without a country. I was like, wait a minute, I thought you lived on the island of relevancy. Cody then decided he would take a shot too, because he was like, yeah, you did lose all of that stuff and you ain't even the tribal chief anymore. And who told you that before WrestleMania? It was me, Cody Rhodes. Oh, and by the way, if you want to talk about WWE too, you lost that as well. It's now mine. It's like, this is He-Man and Skeletor. Rhodes also thinks that Roman is a shell of his former self, and Reigns was like, just tell me what you want, bro. And Cody made it very nice and simple. I want to know that you have my back at the pay-per-view premium live event, so I can have yours too. Now, Roman did agree to this because he understands, but as soon as they are done, he is coming for that WWE title. When Cody was like, oh yeah? Well, I tell you this, bro, it ain't yours to take. Like, this is really good. Reigns then wanted to leave, but Cody got in his way. So Roman told him that. When he clarified, he was like, no, you're in my way in life. Now listen, this is a good line. It was well delivered, but I was cracking up. Imagine saying that to anyone. You are in my way in life. Just gonna hazard a guess, you do not like that person. And then it actually got better too, so we cut back to the arena. And Kevin Owens, poor Kevin Owens, was watching this like, wait a minute, that's a dude I've been fighting for 4 years, making best friends with somebody I consider a pal. So once again, we just started to plant all of these seeds, and it's going to have a mini payoff later. But seriously, you have to find 10 minutes to watch this today. I need WWE to do more of this stuff, but not too much. Don't run it into the ground. That's what old WWE would have done. But when you can use it, you absolutely should, with the right wrestlers. It is getting a huge up. It was flipping cool. When all that talk of maybe, just maybe, WWE thought they'd screwed up Giovanni Vinci, so they were going to retry, went out the window. Because he took on Apollo Crews for a second time, and this time, he lost in a minute. I mean, I guess that's better than 5 seconds. Now, Giovanni was doing well here because he was kicking the crap out of Apollo Crews. I was kind of staring off into the distance going, wait a minute, where did Baron Corbin go? When he went for some kind of bomb of power, so Apollo used the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up for a second time. 1, 2, 3. And for some reason, Apollo just ran off. I was like, dude, I don't think you have to fear this guy. Now look, I'm sure there is a bigger story being told here, because Giovanni Vinci now looks off into the distance like, what am I meant to do? It's not working. But just from me, as a fan, I just don't believe we're going to be able to rectify this. And I actually think the audience is going to lose interest, which just means now you're right down in the dirt. Again, also a bit annoyed that Baron Corbin has totally vanished. So just for me personally, I'm going to give it a down. But in 10 weeks' time, can I look back and go, ha ha ha, silly boy? Yes. But if I'm going to use that kind of logic, every single thing would get an up all of the time, and people already yell at me and say I do that anyway. So I'm trusting my feelings, I'm trusting my tum-tum, my tootsie toes. Don't think this was the best idea down. Byron Saxton then tried to chat to Kevin Owens again because he was a sad panda, because KO understands wrestling. He says, no, Byron, I will talk about this in the ring. Thank goodness he had a segment booked. Now, Kevin was definitely going to tell us something when the Bloodline interrupted, and I was like, you absolute goobers. You want to hear this too? It could directly tie into the story you're trying to tell. Now, Solo Sikoa wasn't with them, so Tama Tonga did the talking instead. This guy is great. I mean, he sounded like a snake at first. He's going like making that weird noise. But then he talked about how Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are going to get theirs at Bad Blood. And right now, as orders of the Tribal Chief, they got to beat up Kevin Owens. So yeah, give Tamatonga the mic more. Kevin was totally fine with this and even went face to face with Jacob Fatu. So we're going to do that match soon. And as soon as they did attack him, thankfully Kevin does have some friends. And here came DIY, who must have been watching from the back going, just give it a minute, we'll see what happens. Somebody must have alerted Nick Aldis too, because he walked out and he was like, oh, you guys, you annoy me so much. And given that we do have 3 good guys and we have 3 bad guys, I see this as a main event. So I was like, Nikki, you are lucky this did happen, because your job must be in jeopardy. You starting a show without a main event? That is not good stuff. So I like this mostly for Kevin Owens, because we are taking all that stuff with Cody Rhodes, and we are carrying it on, even though he lost that match to Cody Rhodes. So I think something super duper good is going to come from this. Giving it up. Bayley and Naomi were then super friends and going, oh my gosh, one of them could be the #1 contender by the end of the night. But of course, Naomi wants to win, and Bayley wants to win. So Bayley was like, don't worry, Naomi, I'll give you the first shot. And Naomi was a bit offended by that, but don't worry, it's all going to work out. Now, once again, Aldis had made this a tornado tag match earlier in the day. So we got to this match, and it was just absolute chaos and absolute carnage. But I actually thought very entertaining, especially because at one point, Bayley was going to win, and what did Naomi do? She pulled her friend off, because of course she did. They don't know what to do. That's kind of funny, because it was a tag team match, which meant one partner stopped the other one. When you bring logic into it, yeah, I get it. They then made up instantly, so I laughed out loud, and when Nia Jax was going for the Annihilator, they were like, no, we don't want that to happen. And they made sure they went over and punched Tiffany Stratton right in the face. Now, Stratton was able to reverse that, and she tried to help, but she accidentally hit Nia Jax instead. So maybe it will be her going to Raw. She's going to run away. Amazingly, Bayley and Naomi were then able to hit her with the 1D, so they must have been chatting to the Usos. When Nia re-arrived, she was going to try and sort this out, but instead, Bayley and Naomi did this really weird double pin thing. The ref was like, well, listen, you have won this tag team match, but in terms of who got the winning fall, well, it was both of you. Well done. And actually, I quite like this, because it justifies why Nick Aldis made it a tornado tag. At first, I assumed that we were going to do a triple threat match at Bad Blood, but later on, Aldis told Bayley and Naomi, nope, you two are going to fight next week, and the winner shall become the #1 contender. Now, my fear here is that wrestling, which has done way too much in 2024, is that Nia walks out and costs both of them and goes, ha ha ha, now none of you can get the shot, then it becomes a 3-way anyway. We have done that way too much, and it just never makes any sense. It's 2 + 2 = potato. However, that's just something I've made up in my head, and in terms of this as a segment, I liked it very much, and it's getting it up. When Chelsea Green decided, well, I can do cinema too, and I tell you, as good as that Cody and Roman stuff was, I think I actually preferred this one more. Goofy wrestling for life. Because she had literally gone to some kind of trash yard and she was taking the trash out because, of course, next week or in 2 weeks' time, she is going to be taking on Michin in a dumpster match. So she had all this, well, garbage, and she'd stuck Michin's face to it, and yeah, she was throwing it into a dumpster. It just made me go, if all these rumors about WWE introducing a secondary women's championship are true, we should give it to Chelsea Green. And at the end of this, she tried to, I don't know, end the fake match, and a raccoon bit her, and she freaked out, and she ran off. Now, seriously, on paper this sounds dumb, but Chelsea Green is just so damn good at this stuff, so we have to find a way to make sure she does more of this stuff. Genuinely, go watch it. It's like a minute long. Up. This is when we also got to confirm that it is round 476 between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes next week, and we had the Nick Aldis, Bayley and Naomi chat. Well, it was right into our main event. Now, Kevin Owens did make his way to the ring when the camera cut backstage, and surprise, surprise, the Bloodline had beaten up DIY. What a fat load of good they were. Kevin tried to stop this, but then the Bloodline were here to beat him up, when from nowhere, the Street Profits arrived. They intervened when they was just in the main event match. So I suppose Nick Aldis must have been radioing to the ring. Kevin and the greatest meme wrestler alive, Tangaloa, started before Angelo Dawkins got in there, and he tagged in Montez Ford too. It's almost like they're a tag team and they understand the rules. The crowd was then chanting OTC because Roman Reigns is so damn over, or they just wanted some over-the-counter drugs. I understand it. It's time for the weekend. And as ever, the equalizer here was Jacob Fatu. Every time he tagged in, he just wrecked everybody. And the only reason he screwed up is because he went for a hip attack and he missed. So he really is like the boogeyman at the moment, but not the WWE boogeyman. I mean, like the real boogeyman or the fake boogeyman that we made up. I mean, he's just like someone that has everybody's number. So I guess he's your mum. Let's just move on. The Bloodline are so damn tough, they too survived the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break, because they continued their beatdown. When Tama Tonga made a mistake, Angelo Dawkins took advantage. He tagged Montez Ford, who went crazy into this standing moonsault when he remembered, I get the hierarchy. He tagged in Kevin Owens, everybody went crazy. And this guy ran around the ring and beat everybody up when he did a splash of the frogs onto the floor. Him and Tama Tonga then went to the top rope when Tama got wrecked with this fisherman buster. And I tell you, we do not talk about it enough. Kevin Owens is flipping great. Tangaloa then broke up that 1-2 pin by pulling Kevin off, which sounds terrible, but I don't mean it that way. But it is important you put that in your brain, because instantly, Owens hit the stunner on Tama Tonga, went for a second time in a few seconds. Tangaloa pulled Kevin Owens out of the ring. And this time, the ref just went, ugh, that's a DQ. That was a stupid finish. I mean, sometimes you just gotta be honest, because yes, if we're looking literally or logically, it should be a disqualification, but why wasn't it a DQ first time? Why does it have to be the second time? Also, if we go back to Clash of the Castle, Solo Sikoa debuted and pulled the referee out of the ring, which cost Drew McIntyre the title, and nobody cared about that. So no wonder Drew went crazy, so you just do need a little bit of consistency with the rules. Like in the grand scheme of things, who the flub cares? I don't, but my brain gets it down. The match was so damn entertaining and so damn fun though, it has to get an up. I think Montez Ford realized that too. He didn't want it to end and he did his crazy, amazing dive. A huge brawl then broke out and the Bloodline wanted to do their triple power bomb when DIY returned. I thought, well, then why the hell weren't you in the match? I mean, kind of summed it up. They got beaten instantly too. The worst save attempt ever. The Line of the Blood then went back to trying to finish off Kevin Owens when Cody Rhodes' music hit. I was like, man, he must have been on the jet because he got from Georgia to Sacramento very quickly and he did have a chair. But Jacob Fatu was like, nope, and he booted it out of his hand. Now, Rhodes was still able to hit the Cody cutter, but given there was a chair on the floor, Kevin Owens then picked it up, and much like a few weeks ago, this time it really looked like he was gonna blast him one when Cody turned around and they did this kind of hug, but you could tell that Kevin was upset about this. And the thing I love the most is that even when Cody did turn around, he wasn't worried. He wasn't perturbed at all, because he knows that Kevin Owens is his friend. Problem is, I don't think Kevin Owens is going to be his friend for much longer. Owens just sold this so damn well as well. When he did do the big hug, his face was an absolute treat. So I think this story rules. And if Kevin Owens does turn heel, oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. Especially because it's Cody Rhodes' own doing. He is teaming up with the enemy. And do you know how else this could go? Randy Orton could also go, you know what, Cody? He has a point. So we are lining up those feuds. What a great ending to SmackDown. Getting it up. So for one reason or another, I really enjoyed this show. Maybe I'm just in a good mood, but it is going to get it up. But I think a lot is going to happen at Bad Blood, and even more is going to happen at the Survivor Series. So plug me in. Now, of course, I want to know your thoughts and feelings, so make sure you drop me a line below before you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And make sure you turn on those notifications for here and for the mobile app as well. Turns out that's a big problem for YouTube, so do that now. Also, click this video on this screen. Otherwise, have great weekends, my friends. And I will see you next week.